Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today,
we're recording sound for interviews done the right way.
We're going to break down the audio setup that we had for this interview setup, the one that you saw in my latest video. This is the story of how and why I traveled 10,000 miles to show her this video.
So doing a very basic interview sort of setup, all we're doing is just a single boom and a single lav mic, but we're going to start over here at the recorder. So on track 1, we've got the boom mic going into track 1. Track 2, we've got the lav that Connor's wearing. And basically what I'm doing here is I'm recording isolated tracks of each of the different microphones that we're using. So one track is of the boom, one track is of the lav mic, and then I'm recording a left-right mix. And I'm live mixing it to create the best sort of sound that we can. So when Connor gets into post, he can choose either to remix both the lav and the boom together, or he can just use the left-right mix that I'm providing. We're also using a timecode setup, which if you look on the camera right here, we're using Tentacle syncs in order to generate timecode to be able to sync all the cameras up in post way easier than if we had to manually sync them, which hopefully it works. We'll make sure later. We haven't tested that yet, so we'll find out later. But when we go over and talk about microphones, over above Connor's head, we're using a small diaphragm condenser mic on a cardioid polar pattern just to kind of, wherever he moves in this area, it'll still pick him up pretty much regardless. Whereas if it was a shotgun mic, like Sennheiser MK416, it's going to be picking up just in one area, so when he moves off axis, it's going to start sounding weird. And then we're using a very nice, simple Sanken Cos-11D into a Sennheiser G4 wireless system, just so we have him laved as well. So we have options for post-production, so if the lav sounds cleaner and nicer, we'll use the lav, but if the boom sounds cleaner, we'll use the boom. So it's very dependent on what it sounds like in post. And that's basically all we have to do for a nice, simple little audio setup for recording an interview.
The way he talks about it makes it seem super easy, but it ends up being a little more complicated than just throwing my one microphone on top. But this would be how you would actually set up the interview so that it sounds the very best and you have multiple options so that if there's hair on a microphone or any other reason that would cause sounds that you don't want, you have another option that you can use. But wait, where should the mics be placed? Because is this distance specific, or where was my lav? Do you want to talk about that real quick?
Yeah, sure, we can talk about that. Let's trade places real quick here, though.
Sure.
So for the boom mic above the head, the interviewee's head, it should be as close to the frame line as you can and on axis to where they are. So when I talk about on axis, the direction of the mic should be pointing right towards their mouth in order to get the cleanest sort of sound. Unfortunately, we were using a 24 when we did our talking head with Connor, so it's a bit higher than I would like it to be, but this is the height that we were able to get it in at. And then when we took a look at lav mics, there's a few different ways to lav someone up. If you're doing interview style, it can be visible. So typically you would run this up through clothing in order to hide the cable, but for sake of simplicity, we can just go right under the collar here. And this is where we did it for Connor. He just had it here, and then the cable went down through his shirt and over into the transmitter. But there's also some other options, like if they were wearing a jacket of some sort, you could actually clip it onto the jacket instead. And typically the best distance is if you do this and go from your mouth, it should get as close to here as you can. So about middle of the chest, so we'll just go right there. And then if they were wearing a jacket, we'd put it off on the side of the jacket and just hide the cable over to the transmitter, and boom! That's a lav mic hiding, more or less hiding.
Well, alright, I think that just about sums it up. If you guys have any more questions, we are always happy to help answer your questions, whether that be video or sound related. Another place you should visit is Audrey's Discord server. We have channels for each of those very topics, so I will put that link in the description as well. We both always love to help out all the people who are in there. But yeah, again, let us know if you have any questions on recording sound or for interviews or more specific pieces of gear. We can actually list the gear links in the description.
Yeah, I can give you a list of all the gear we used today.
Yeah, we'll throw that down there for you. But yes, this is getting long now. So, Thank you very much for watching. If you guys enjoyed the video, give it a big thumbs up and consider subscribing if you want to see more videos like these. Thanks so much. See ya.